Almost 40 years ago, I got a phone call from a high school biology teacher in Ottumwa, Iowa. His name was Stanley Weinberg, and he was concerned that the teaching of evolution was under attack from a number of pressure groups in his state. He asked me if I would come out and testify in front of the State Board of Education, which I was happy to do. I'm happy to say that due to Stanley's efforts and many others, these attacks were in fact unsuccessful. But Stanley realized that this was a national issue. And what he did at the time was to begin to form a loose organization called the Committees of Correspondence to act against challenges to the teaching of evolution in our schools in every state in the nation. As these challenges mounted in the early 1980s, it became apparent that a permanent national organization would be very, very useful in terms of defending the integrity of science education. That's how the National Center for Science Education was born. NCSE is now celebrating its 40th anniversary. And I, for one, would be absolutely delighted to say NCSE has done its job. Science is not challenged in American schools, and we can retire the organization and thank it for its work. But you know that simply isn't true. As successful as NCSE has been in defending the integrity of science education in front of state school boards and even in federal courts, as exemplified by the famous Kitzmiller versus Dover court case, the reality is that if anything, challenges against science education have continued to mount. And they take the form not just of disputes about the teaching of evolution, but increasingly about the coverage of earth science and climate change in our schools. What NCSE has done and continues to do is to defend science education against these challenges, to look for attempts to water down state science curricula, to rate states and schools on the basis of the integrity of their own curricula, and increasingly to take a much more active role, not just in defending the teaching of science, but improving the teaching of science. And NCSE is doing this through teacher support programs, by designating and training teacher ambassadors around the country, and by developing model curricula for evolution and climate change. This work is vital. This work is important. And as long as science is contentious in American schools, which unfortunately it truly is, the work of NCSE will be more vital than ever. I would urge you to join with us in celebrating the 40th anniversary of this incredible organization, but also in increasing your support for it. Its mission matters, not just to science and not just to our schools, but for the future of our country as a whole. This is Ken Miller. I'm a cell biologist who's been active in the so-called evolution wars. I serve on the board of NCSE. I am proud to be associated with this organization, and I hope very much that we can have your support as we move forward to expand our work in the years ahead. Thank you very much.